Hello, hello, hello. You're tuning into another episode of The Show. Today's first topic. The Ravens made another list. So, CBS Sports comes out with timely lists about, receiving yards, rushing yards, quarterback statistics. And one came up, I want to say a day ago, about every NFL's team, all-time leading receiver. So, I was kind of curious. I'm like, man, I want to see where the Ravens rank, right? So I went, did a little digging, found the pick. They always make a graphic. Found the graphic, and I was like, my God. I'm not even surprised. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you the graphic, right? And then we're going to break all this down. And this is going to be showing why this is one of the reasons I'm hoping that Todd Monken succeeds in Baltimore. So right here, you're going to see the right hand of your screen is the graphic. Right on this side. And of course, number one, if you guys can see it perfectly, you got Jerry Rice, the Larry Fitzgeralds, the Tim Browns, the Marvin Harrisons. Those guys are, Super Bowl winning wide receivers, some of the best to ever lace it up at their positions. But if you keep going lower, past the shout out to Andre Johnson. That was my favorite wide receiver for years. 4 years. For years. I had loved when he had finally got a little bit of help with the Arian Foster and J.J. Watt. You know what I mean? He was playing with nothing. Hey. But, Andre Reed for the Buffalo Bills, Steve Largent for the Seahawks, Jason Witten for the Cowboys. Julio Jones, of course, for the Falcons. 12,896. Why did I think he had 13? Okay. Chris Carter for the Minnesota Vikings, 12,383. Jimmy Smith. I forgot about Jimmy Smith. Steve Smith, that's my boy. Or man, you know what I'm saying? Yeah, man, but you know what I mean. Hines Ward, Steelers. Ark Monk, old school great. Antonio Gates, I don't think he gets nearly as enough love as he should. Don Maynard, Calvin Johnson. I always say one of the most egregious things in NFL history is the wasting of talent that the Detroit Lions had made a regular occurrence. Calvin Johnson is a top 5 wide receiver to ever live. Barry Sanders is a top 2 running back. To me, he's the greatest. Barry Sanders is the greatest running back to ever live. But on most people's list, he's 2, 3, whatever. But he's definitively a top 2 running back in NFL history. And they gave those brothers nothing. All they could do was accrue numbers, do spectacular highlights. Nobody could stop them. Some of the most unstoppable people at their positions in football history. Wasted. Absolutely wasted. Sad. Calvin Johnson should have more than 11,000 yards for his career. But whatever. Rod Smith, Broncos. Tony Gonzalez, Kansas City 10. Hey, yo. Kelsey's coming for that record. Chad Johnson, shout out to Chad. Always respected Ocho. Always respected him. Mike Evans, 10,425. For a lot of you that don't understand how dominant he has been and why I would love him on this team. Stanley Morgan for the Patriots. Donald Driver for the Green Bay Packers. We already know that would have been beaten by Shannon Sharp's brother if not for the catastrophic injury that he suffered. But shout out to Donald Driver for getting that. Marquise Colston. Man, I remember this dude. Big old dude. 6'5" or something like that. Always loved playing in the slot for the Saints. 9,759 yards, not bad. Amani Toomer, I would have never guessed. He's the Giants' all-time leader in receiving yards. Harold Carmichael for the Eagles, 8,978. Mark Duper for the Dolphins. Ozzie Newsome! What's good, Ozzie? Ain't it crazy how Ozzie is probably a top 3, top 4 greatest Brown of all time. But as a general manager in the same division, he is probably a top 2, top 3 greatest general manager of all time for the Baltimore Ravens. Shout out to Ozzie. Ernest Givings, of course, for the Titans. Check this out. That's Ernest Givings is 7,935 for the Titans. These are the last two. Derek Mason for the Baltimore Ravens with 5,777 yards. That's second to last. And Johnny Morris for the Chicago Bears with 5,059. My God. This is why I'm praying that this guy could change up stuff like this, because this is crazy. And mind you, this is not just receivers. This is leading receive, meaning as long as you have receiving yards, you're at the top of this list. So you see tight ends and stuff like that, wide receivers and stuff. But look how low the Bears and and I know some Raven fans are going to be like, oh, well, at least we're not last. How good have the Bears been? Really? Seriously. The 85 Bears was a long time ago. That was before I was born. And that's what I'm trying to say. Like, you know what I mean? It's like, man, 5,777 yards. Think about this real quick. Mike Evans for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers is already at 10,425, and he hasn't even played 10 seasons. He's doubled our best wide receiving output for a career in Baltimore history. Bro, this is why I keep saying it needed to be addressed. A lot of times, you know, when you're showing people these things, the graphics like over here and stuff like that, they get in their feelings. Like, oh no, how dare you talk bad about the Ravens? You know, they got the Ravens song blasting in the background. It's the Ravens, purple and black. It's the Ravens. You know, that's a fact. Blasting the Ravens, drinking purple Kool-Aid, and not realizing that no team is perfect. And calling out your team's discrepancies, hoping that they get better at them, does not make you a bad fan. It doesn't make you a bad person. It just means that the team has places to go. They got stuff they can get better at. 5,777 yards. Bro. The only team that can say that they're worse than us is the Chicago Bears. And look how bad, especially offensively, the Chicago Bears have been for how many decades? And shout out to Brandon Marshall, because I remember when Brandon Marshall came over for the Bears, I was like, man, I wanted him to be a Baltimore Raven so bad. Brandon Marshall was the truth. I remember that game where he had like 25 receptions in a game. If I'm not mistaken, does he have the record? I'm pretty sure he has the record or something like that. But yeah, man, so that's what we're looking at. This is what we're looking on getting better at. Let me close the graphic. This is what we're looking on getting better at. I need people to look past our old, you know what I'm saying, or time furthered, success back then. Because of course we had success. We touted the greatest defense in NFL history. That's without a fact. And Joe Flacco literally put on one of the top 3 or top 5 greatest playoff runs in NFL history. But can you really say you're going to bank on that? Think about this. The defense, they've taken away the defense's ability to truly be dominant. They've taken it away. So you're not doing it that way. That's no. For you to do that, you would have to have, out of the 11 positions on your team, 10 of them would have to be top 2 or top 3 at their positions at every single defensive slot on your team. And maybe you'd be able to do it. Maybe. And that's a strong maybe. Because cornerbacks get beat. Because wide receivers are allowed to dictate where they want to go. You can't keep your hands on them. Pass interference, pass interference, pass interference, touchdown. You can pass interference all the way to a touchdown. I've seen it done. But that's why I've kept, when I see stuff like this is what gets me as a Raven fan. That's why I wanted us to progress. As great as the Ravens are and as great as they've been, these are the things that we got to get better at. It's not a bad thing recognizing where you're weak and trying to get better at it. Pointing it out and saying, hey, we got to get better at it. That's why, when you see those statistics and stuff, why you see so many people showing EDC love for finally at least looking like they are going gung-ho or all in the wide receiver position for the Baltimore Ravens, let alone Lamar Jackson. Let alone. You notice how I didn't put him in until now? It's because historically we've been pouring that department. That's before Lamar, before Joe. All these guys that we've had, the Ravens have missed. And missed in abundance. So it's not you being a bad fan pointing out, it's not being a bad fan or anything. It's being honest with your team. And our team needs to make a considerable jump. There is no reason that Zay Flowers shouldn't be over 5,000 yards for his career in Baltimore. There's no reason Bateman should be under 5,000 yards for his career in Baltimore. There's no reason Mark Andrews should be under 5,000 yards for his career in Baltimore. You get where I'm coming from? Growth is needed for success. And as a Raven fan, if we clean that up, well, then the sky's the limit. Sky's the limit. But let me know what y'all think in the comment section about that list, because I was looking at it like, man, second to last. I thought we had at least one person that got over 7,000 yards for his career. Not even one. We've never had a receiver for his career get over 6,000 yards in Baltimore. Yo, we need a change, and the change to come quickly. But that's another episode of The Wunderkind Show. Thank you all for watching. You know how we get down. We have fun and everything else. But everything we talk about is rooted in what? Facts and truth. Please do remember, like, subscribe, and the notification bell. Leave a comment. Just be kind and respectful down there. We got no problems. And don't forget, if you would like to donate or even join the Patreon, you can find all that stuff in the description of every video that we do. CashApp, money sign, The Wunderkind Show. There's so much stuff, so much available for behind the scenes with the Patreon. If you want to, hit it up. You'll find in the description of every video that we do. And it helps out the channel too. So go out there and get that. But once again, this is The Wunderkind Show. This show is Nitro signing off. And as always, you guys know my slogan. Peace. And I am out of here. Yerp.